that I shared, and he has been really giving Andrew's father great help. Okay, let's not delay further. Let's join and welcome Gabriel for your sharing. Thank you so much for helping.
No problem. Thank you, for this opportunity to share. Yeah. So, just give me a moment. Let me just share my slides. Mm, One moment now. Okay. Can you guys see my slides?
Yes.
Okay. Hold on. Now, just let me get back the screen. Okay, thank you, Kathy, for the invite. And nice to see a lot of you guys again. So I see some familiar faces. So let me begin with my sharing. So my name is Gabriel. As you saw some of the videos earlier, I'm actually a strength and conditioning coach. I'm also a nutrition coach and a breathwork coach. But at the same time, I'm also an unfranchised owner, just like every one of you here. Right. So one of the things that I like a lot about this business is that we always want to get everyone around us, including ourselves, healthier, right, and more knowledgeable. And we continue to have that spirit of learning and improving and getting better every time, right? So with that, I would just like to share this topic about the power duo. So this power duo I'm going to talk about here today, it's actually the combination of calcium and magnesium, right? They are two essential minerals, right, working in harmony to give us stronger bones, deeper sleep, and faster recovery. Yeah. So as I begin, just like to start with what is calcium, right? Calcium is an essential mineral. Okay. About 99% of what is stored in your bones and teeth. Okay. And that's where it helps them to be strong and structurally sound. However, there's 1% of that calcium in our body that circulates in our blood, our cells, right? And it's controlled by a very small range. And that range is called calcium homeostasis, right? That means you maintain that level of calcium. And even though it's a small amount, right, this portion is vital for everyday functions. So that's why you have heard that if you don't have enough calcium, they draw from your bones, and then your bones get more porous, right? So that's the reason why, right? So what does it do for the 1.2% in our bloodstream? Well, number one, it helps with muscle movement. Our muscle need calcium for nerve conduction as well, right? Heart rhythm, and also blood clotting, right? So these are very important functions that it's around our bloodstream that helps. And while bones act as a strong bank, calcium's most important job is actually helping the body function properly on a daily basis, right? So that's why calcium is so important. It is used by our body every single day. Yeah. Now, what are the five key benefits of calcium? Number one is bone strength and density. So it helps us to maintain strong bones and teeth, right? Prevents osteopenia, osteoporosis, right? Especially for adults 40 years and above, especially our ladies, because they have higher risk of bone loss compared to men. Yeah. And also active individuals, for example, if they are playing a lot of sports, they're lifting a lot of weights, they're putting a lot of stress on the bones, they need more calcium than average. Yeah. So without enough calcium, right, the body pulls it from the bones. So our bone is like the bank, right? You deposit the calcium there, right? So if you don't have enough in the bloodstream or your demand is higher, it draws from the bank, right? So it's like we go to the ATM. So the bone is the ATM, right? So when it draws from the bank, if you don't replenish enough, it will be a shortfall. Yeah. Then muscle performance also comes into play, because when you use it for muscles, it is important for the contraction of the muscles so that our muscle can give us the right strength output, the coordination, right, and also prevents cramps. So sometimes when we don't have enough of this, we can get cramps. Yeah. And without calcium, muscles cannot contract properly. So calcium is very, very important. Yeah. And heart Why is the heart very important as well? Because it regulates heartbeat and rhythm, okay, and works with magnesium and potassium as a synergy to provide that heart rhythm and heart function. Yeah. So imbalances can cause heart rhythm and blood pressure issues. So that's why we need to maintain healthy calcium levels. Okay, the other two benefits would actually be nerve and brain function. So you need it for nerve communications because what happens is that calcium triggers the neurotransmitter release. So it helps you with better focus, reaction time, brain-body coordination, right? So you need all those to function properly and optimally. At the same time, blood clotting and healing is also very important because if you don't have enough calcium, your blood cannot clot normally. That means that if a person bleeds, right, they will find it harder for it to stop bleeding. Yeah. So remember, calcium is not just about bones, right? It's a full body mineral. Okay, it's for your structure, it's for your movement, it's for signals, it's for rhythm, and it's also for repair. Yeah. So calcium has a very big role in many parts of our lives. Yeah. Now, what's the real problem? The real problem is many concentrate on calcium intake, but actually magnesium levels are also overlooked. Yeah. So there's a widespread deficiency where majority of adults don't meet their daily magnesium requirement, yet calcium is rarely the issue. Okay. So when we are stressed, they actually drain our magnesium levels. Right. So every stressful moment accelerates magnesium loss through urine, leaving our body depleted. Yeah. So if a person works in a very high stress environment, chances are they will deplete calcium and magnesium a lot faster as well. Right. And because of the imbalance, it results in poor recovery. It results in muscle being tense, more tight, disrupted sleep. You don't get as restful sleep, and your body cannot function at the best. Because when you don't recover properly, it's like you didn't let the engine cool off enough and you start the car again. Then what will happen? Right? The engine may overheat over time. Yeah. So the missing link actually is the magnesium, where magnesium is our body's master mineral. Right? Magnesium is shown to be involved in over 300 enzyme reactions from the production to DNA repair. So without adequate levels, right, the body simply cannot perform at its peak. That's why magnesium and calcium, they are considered foundational minerals that we need to consume on a daily basis. Yeah. So the three key roles of magnesium is one is calcium regulation. So acting as a gatekeeper, they control where and how calcium functions in the body. So if you don't have this gatekeeper, calcium can run all over the place. Yeah. And sleep and nervous system. Now, if you have overreactive nerves, you have enough magnesium, it helps to calm down, right? If you don't have enough, you find that sleep, in fact, what we call deep restorative sleep, right? When we sleep, right, there's actually three parts of our sleep. Okay, there is actually four parts. First part is that we are awake from time to time when we are asleep. We just don't realize it, right? So there are moments we are awake. It could be for very, very, very short seconds. Then we have this thing called light sleep, where we are asleep. Okay, the body is just resting, right? But there is two things called REM sleep and deep sleep. REM sleep is where our brains consolidate our thoughts. Okay, so if your mind is very, very active before sleep and you don't have enough magnesium, sometimes you find that you may have a lot of dreams and whatnot, and you wake up feeling a bit of brain fog. Yeah. Deep sleep, on the other hand, is what we call rest and digest. So when you sleep, your body is processing the food you have eaten for the day, right? Drawing out what it needs for energy and so on and so forth. The digestive process takes place. So if we don't have enough of calmness and relaxing our nerves during sleep time, we do not get quality sleep. So it's not just about the total amount of time we sleep, it's also about the quality of our rest. Yeah. So magnesium plays a very, very important role in this. If you have insufficient magnesium, it may result in lower quality of sleep, lower quality of rest. Yeah. So how do you know that you are running low, especially for magnesium? How do you know you're running low? Well, you feel more fatigued than usual? You are actually getting more cramps. So one thing is persistent tiredness, right? No matter how you rest, you still feel somewhat tired. It could be a sign that your magnesium is not sufficient. Yeah. you are very high stress, right? Heightened stress response. Okay, you cannot unwind. Okay, this could also be a sign. Another one is bone weakness. So sometimes bone weakness is the one that's hardest to detect. Calcium deficiency, magnesium deficiency in bones is the hardest to detect. You probably can only find out when something happens. Yeah, unfortunately. Yeah. But the one good sign that everybody's in control is sleep. Okay. If you're having good quality sleep, right? But if you're having difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep, it could be a sign that your magnesium may need a bit of work. Yeah. So calcium and magnesium, they're actually natural opposites. What happens is that together, they orchestrate every muscle contraction and relaxation in your body. Magnesium help you to contract, calcium help you to relax. So you need both. Because if you don't have enough of both, you either are contracting all the time or you are too relaxed. So too relaxed all the time is not good. Contracting all the time, also not good. So you need to have a balance, right? Humans, our body is always about homeostasis, where we have a balance. Yeah. So the calcium is basically the activator. It triggers muscle contraction, it triggers nerve firing, cellular action, the on switch, right? So when you have contraction, it's on. The magnesium is a relaxer. It counterbalances the calcium, promotes muscle relaxation and calm. So off. So you have, sometimes you want to be on, sometimes you want to be off. You have to have a mix. You cannot be on all the time, off all the time. Yeah. So you need to have a balance of this so that your body can be in what we call equilibrium or homeostasis, where your body moves, rests, and recovers well. Yeah. Now, why they work together, right? Because initially vitamin D it activates vitamin D, sorry, and magnesium enables vitamin D activation. Yeah. Then it starts to absorb calcium when vitamin D activated promotes absorption of calcium. And then with magnesium, it regulates the calcium and controls calcium distribution. So without sufficient magnesium, vitamin D cannot be activated, calcium cannot be properly absorbed, and excess calcium may accumulate in soft tissues. Okay, we call calcification. So in some, we say it's kidney stones, for example, right? They're not actually stones per se. They're actually the calcification of excess calcium. So it can create more harm, right? So, but with that, our body is actually able to detox if we take the right source of calcium as well. Yeah. Now, what are the common food sources for calcium? Well, one very good source is greens. Greens are very good source for calcium. Soy milk, right? Peanut, nuts, chia seeds, right? Greens, for example, even edamame. Edamame is very similar, like it's actually a form of beans as well, right? Cheeses, even like sardines, those are very good sources of calcium and magnesium, right? So when we consume all these foods in sufficient quantity, it will be helpful for us. And remember, with whatever is food first, it is always the foundation. If you don't like many of these foods, maybe that could be the reason why you may be lacking of some minerals. Yeah, because we all have our favorite foods. It's very common we more or less eat similar types of foods. There are not many people out there who would not have a repeat meal over a period of time. Say, for example, over a week or 2 weeks, right? Every meal is different. Unlikely. Most of the time, we have many meals that are very similar. We might eat eggs and toast for breakfast 3 days a week, 4 days a week, right? That is already repetition. Yeah. So if our repetition or our habit or our lifestyle does not give us the sufficient nutrients, then we need to look at how we can fill that gap, right? So what I'd like to share here is this called the healthy plate. Now, this is not only in Singapore, it's actually followed globally as well in many countries, right? Where we portion the plate, right? Many years ago, some may have remembered the food pyramid, okay? That is a little bit off already, right? We don't really follow that. We are actually using more of the healthy plate because it's a lot easier because if you look at your plate, half of it is vegetables and fruit, right? The other half you divide by two again. Half of it can be your brown rice, your grains, your whatever, right? And the other half will be your proteins. So why I say proteins is because if you're vegetarian, you may not have meat. right? But if you are eating meat, it doesn't have to be all meat. It can be a mix of meat, tofu, beans, so on and so forth to make up your protein sources as well. Yeah. So a good gauge like this would usually set you on a very good footing. Okay. So a lot of times modern diets, right, are actually falling a little short. Okay. Why? Because even when you're very health conscious, we may not eat a wide enough variety of foods. And sometimes we eat what is more convenient, what is more accessible at that point. For example, if you work in a place where you always eat at the same, few eateries. So those eateries will offer certain types of foods, right? So maybe you have 4, 5, 6, 10 choices, right? Singapore, Malaysia, we are quite lucky. We tend to have a lot more options. However, it will still be within those range. Of those range, let's say you have 25 options. Chances are maybe there are 15 options you don't eat. Okay, for example, let's say I don't like mala, I never eat mala. I will never order the mala store. So whether the food court has a mala store or not is immaterial to me, because I don't eat mala, right? At least I don't buy it on my own, right? But there are some people who don't eat certain types of foods. For example, some people say I don't like salads. So they will never touch salads because salad is raw, right? So some people don't like that raw taste. So they always like to eat milk cooked vegetables, maybe stir fry, maybe soup based. So they tend to eat similar things. I've dined with a few friends and I noticed they always eat soup. Okay, they always eat soup. It's always some kind of fish soup. So if they always eat that, that means the nutrients they get is always from those foods, right? But that also means that they are not exposed to other types of foods. Okay. So, but the real issue now is things like soil depletion, processed foods, right? Which is very, very common. If you ate a hot dog recently, you ate some fries recently, it's processed food already. Right? If you ate, and also the gap is that 70% of adults consume less magnesium than recommended daily. So this is very, very common, right? Yeah. So in the Singapore context, right, I would say these facts are very important for us to know. 90% of our food is imported, right? A lot of it comes from Malaysia, right? Yeah. Then 61% exceed daily calories. So that's why things like being overweight and all that is a very common issue in Singapore and Malaysia. Yeah. And 9 in 10 people, right, exceed recommended sodium intake, right? There's already salt in the food, then they add soy sauce, they add this, they add that. And a lot of this has sodium in it as well, right? And 45%, 4%, sorry, 4% of staples consumed are whole grain, meaning that if you don't eat a lot of vegetables, chances are a lot of us may not be getting enough fiber as well. Yeah, and whole grains has a lot of magnesium, potassium, and so on as well, naturally found in them. Okay, and 1 in 2 adults, older adults, do not eat enough protein. So these are actually studies that were done locally, and they found that this is a deficiency in many people. Yeah, so these are common trends. Okay, the nutritional gap, right? 1 in 2 did not take enough calcium. Okay, most of the time, for many people, it could be maybe a bit of greens here, taking some soy milk or milk, yeah, and that is their calcium source for most of the time, yeah. But the recommended daily allowance for adults 51 and above, right, is 1,000 milligrams of calcium per day, right? And because a lot of times when you consume all these natural sources, you may get maybe half the amount. Right, depending on the quantity you eat, and the amount of milk you drink as well, right? So if you drink like a very small cup, maybe you just add to your coffee and that's it. That's very little. Yeah. And for magnesium, because the whole grains consumed is lesser, right? So instead of recommended 30%, most are only consuming about 4%. So what happens with that, right, is because you are not consuming enough, you'll find that magnesium levels, iron levels, zinc levels, B vitamin levels are lower than needed, right? Now, when supplements make a difference, the question is this: remember, food first. However, right, how many people today would say they live a high stress lifestyle? I think many people would say they live high stress lifestyle, right? Anybody who drives will tell you the traffic gives me a big headache, right? Working in work environment, there's a lot of stress. Some people are afraid to lose their job. Some people are just in a very high stress environment where they need to meet performance roles and all that. That's why you hear these days there's this term called quiet quitting. Some people are just leaving the rat race, right? They just want to move up. Right? Many of us here are in this business because we want a better life as well, right? Not only we like the products, but we know that our business, our unfranchised business can give us a better life, right? Because the environment we have is not ideal. Right? You may love what you do, but the environment may be a high stress lifestyle. Poor or disrupted sleep. This is something very, very common. If you struggle to switch off at night, magnesium supports neurotransmitters that may help you to relax better. Yeah. And these days, you see so many more people. Anyone heard of this thing called Hyrox, right? Or the one previously CrossFit, right? That one is losing a bit of steam. So now Hyrox seems to be taking over. More and more people, I've seen people on social media posting 55-year-old, oh, just completed my first Hyrox, right? All those are very active individuals. And because they're so active, imagine a car driving twice the mileage. Do you think you need more petrol? Do you think you need more time to cool the engine? Therefore, increasing mineral loss, it becomes very natural. Okay? So one of the things we have here is the isotonics advantage. Not all supplements are created equal. However, what we have as isotonic advantage provides three key important points. Number one, fast absorption. 95% bioavailability. I'm sure everybody here knows. Better delivery, right? Because of its high bioavailability, you are getting more bang for buck, right? You're not getting 10 to 20%, you're getting up to 95%. And because of that, it's higher effectiveness. So if it's higher effectiveness, does it mean that I don't have to consume as much and get more in my system? The answer is yes. So for example, like calcium, some people may be taking 1,000 milligram pills, right? But because a pill does not digest at the same rate, you don't absorb at the same rate, you might not be getting more than 10 to 20%. So in reality, you're getting maybe 200 milligrams out of 1,000. Yeah. But over here, you're getting much more per serving. Yeah. So when we have this, we use a bit of fructose, a bit of glucose, simple tasting sugars, right? And the caloric intake is about 8 calories per serving. Right? 8 calories per serving is about maybe 1 bite of an apple to 2 bites of apple, depending on the size of the apple, right? And fructose is the main primary sugar in this formula, right? And it scores very low on the glycemic index, only 20 out of 100. Rice is about 70. Table sugar is about 100. So it is low value. Therefore, it is safe for most people to consume, unless stated otherwise or restrictions due to special medical conditions. Yeah. So the first product I'll introduce is Isotonics Calcium Plus. Right. What's inside this? We have multiple forms of calcium, right? Calcium carbonate, citrate, lactate, phosphate, and sulfate. Right. Why we have many different types of calcium? Because when it combines fast and sustained release, you get a better delivery overall and improves bioavailability over time. Okay. There's vitamin D3, there's magnesium, there's vitamin C, manganese, potassium, and vitamin B2 to help metabolic and bone support. So with this, right, our product is gluten-free, it's vegetarian, it's isotonic, and it is made in a GMP facility, good manufacturing practice. So therefore, you know you're getting the best. Yeah. So some of the benefits for Calcium Plus include healthy bones. I won't read everything. Muscle helps in muscle pain and cramps. Helps promote blood circulation in peripheral areas of the body, which means, like, for example, your extremities. Right. Improves symptoms of stress, decrease symptoms of mild anxiety. Right. It supports the nervous system, regulates thyroid function. Yeah. So there are many things that this calcium can do for us, and consuming it regularly is one of the key. Because a lot of times this is not a medication. It takes time for your body to start to see noticeable differences if you are lacking of it, right? So it may not be overnight, but it can happen once you consume on a regular basis. Yeah. So some of the testimonials you find on our website, right? If any of you use any of these products, it benefits you, please go to the website and share your testimonial there, right? Share your feedback, share your reviews. I think it is very, very helpful because one day, one of your customer might just log in and see, oh, Kathy shared it benefits. Ah, I know Kathy. Wow, okay. Then it's good. That means it really helps. Yeah. Okay. And we are helping each other as well. Like today, we are helping each other. Sometimes I learn from you guys, sometimes you learn from me. Yeah. So we are helping one another. And this review is very, very important for all of us. Okay, the next will actually be isotonics magnesium. So it helps with head comfort, bone comfort, cardiovascular health, and also muscle health. Yeah. So what are the main ingredients? Magnesium citrate, right? Basically is magnesium bound to citric acid, right? So it's known for good absorption and fast availability. It helps with muscle function, helps with energy production, mild constipation support. Okay, but if you have stomach discomfort, don't rely on this. Okay, this is not its main job. Okay, so think fast acting and efficient absorption for this particular magnesium. How about magnesium glycinate? Magnesium glycinate, actually it bonds to amino acid called glycine. So what happens that is high bioavailability and very gentle on the stomach. Okay, so it helps with relaxation, with sleep, nervous system balance, stress reduction. Think of this as calming, recovery focus. So you want to have something fast acting, efficient, and one helping with calming. So two different types. Yeah. So this helps with why this combination helps because it improves overall absorption, reduce digestive discomfort, covers both performance and recovery. So it's a very complete magnesium. So adding this to calcium gives you a wide spectrum, allows you to cover more bases. Okay, so you can see some of the reviews here, right? Again, if you benefited from this or any product that you have tried, leave a review. Yeah, so let's all start to make it a habit to leave reviews so that when people look at it, if your customer or potential customer logs in and they see, wow, there are 500 reviews on magnesium, it must be good, right? So this can be helpful for you to build your unfranchised business as well. Yeah. Now, it's a very simple and consistent system. Basically, this mineral protocol is not complicated. Okay, it's about consistency. Yeah. So combine isotonics magnesium, isotonics calcium plus, and do it consistently. Consume it consistently. Small daily habits will compound over time. Yeah, and that is what will help us in the long run. Okay, as I come to the end, right, I just want to share a bit of retail tips. So sometimes when you meet someone, avoid the temptation of being too excited at the front and share and say the product is very good, very good, very good, very good, right? Because good is relative until I need it. Okay. So ask them questions and show them concerns. Okay. Find out what do they need. Are they sleeping well lately? Do they feel muscle tightness or cramps? Do they feel stressed or tired often? Right? Are their joints hurting? Right? Or feel weaker than before? Right? Do they exercise and sweat a lot? If they exercise and sweat a lot, they will lose a lot of minerals. So they need more minerals. Yeah. Okay. Then listen, bridge, and listen. Right? So find out more. Because sometimes when people say something, you ask further, if they don't say anything else, it may just be a complaint and that ends there, right? So if you try to promote a product to them, they may find that you're being a bit pushy. So what you do is you want to listen more, right? And you realize that, maybe this problem has been happening for a long time, right? And they've been trying, say, another brand of calcium magnesium. It seems to help, doesn't seem to help, let them tell you. If it doesn't seem to help, then you can ask them, so that's where you clarify and have the right mindset because you want to understand how long they've been taking a product. Has it been helping them? Do they have other challenges? Sometimes they may say they have this, they might have something else as well. Yeah. So find out, but set the expectations right. If they are to try a new product, tell them this. This is not medication. It's not take once 3 times a day for 5 days and you're going to be better. Right? It's not medication. It's not a drug. Right? It's a nutrient. Your body needs time. If they are really lacking in the bones, it will take time to build back to fill up the deficiency before it goes to other areas. So it will take time. So set their expectations right. Tell them most people will take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. 3 to 6 months is just a gauge. Some people may even take longer than that, depending on how bad the issue is. Okay. Or also how well they are at this point. Sometimes they may not need as long as that as well. So, but give them a rough expectation, 3 to 6 months. Yeah. And lastly, learn to share testimonials, right? So if you have a testimonial, like I have a partner who started as a customer, right? And what happened is that she's been taking calcium for a long time, right? But doesn't seem to help. And when she fell and she went to check, she found her bones were actually porous, which totally confused her because she was taking calcium. She was eating calcium foods. So why is that so? And after she heard my presentation on isotonic calcium a couple of years back, she decided that, oh, it could be an absorption issue. That's why she gave it a try. Right? And in her case, her body responded very well. Within the first bottle, she noticed a huge difference. Yeah. But not everyone is like this. Remember, when sharing testimonials, give a bit of disclaimer. Don't say 1 cap a day, two caps a day for 3 months, you definitely will see improvement. No, don't make promises or guarantees, but share what those people have benefited from and say, give it a try. Maybe you can benefit as well. Because we have seen many cases who have benefited. Maybe the next one could be you, but we don't know for sure. Maybe try for 3 to 6 months. Then ask them, would you like to start with maybe 2 months or 3 months, so on and so forth, right? Get them started there. So they are mentally prepared. They know that I'm not in for a fast game. I'm in to try this for a period of time and let my body heal itself. Remember, whatever we are promoting here, whether food or supplements, they are just building blocks. Okay, before I end, I just want to share this analogy. You know, a building, right? When you look at a building, over time, a building gets wear and tear. Cracks may occur, windows may break, right? The paint may peel off. What do you replace it with? Same or better material, right? So the building will continue to stand strong and look good. Our body is exactly the same. We need to provide it with the right materials, right building blocks, so the body can repair itself, right? Just like any building. So with that, I've come to today's short sharing session. And once again, thanks, Kathy and Team RNS for inviting me to share on these two topics. By the way, just a quick point. I shared this exactly recently at the Market Australia Product Symposium as well. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Gabriel, and thank you for rushing from Master UFO back here and share all this with us.
No, no problem, no problem. Yeah.
Yes, I certainly agree with that because the community nurse that come to my house to visit my mom's for some general check, when she saw the calcium on my cabinet, she was telling me she's taking that too.
Oh,
And actually,
wow.
she can get all this free because they get medical covered free. But she said she couldn't absorb those calcium tablets given by the hospital. So she's taking our isotonic calcium.
Mm,
Yeah. Okay,
that's
we
good to
have a
hear.
bit of time. And okay, for those who actually want to know more about just now, the video clips that I share on the strength training for senior Mr. Ho, I think you can ask Gabriel yourself.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, we are open for Q&A. Anybody have any question that you want or you want to know more about anything that Gabriel can help? There's a question. Hi, Gabriel. That's from Sarah.
Mm,
How would you explain?
uh-huh.
How would you explain to friends if they say afraid of taking calcium will cause kidney stone?
Oh, okay. That's a very good question. A lot of times, when friends, recommend each other calcium and they may buy it from Watsons and Guardian and whatnot, right? The intention is always good, but the knowledge may not be clear enough. So what happens is this, a lot of times, remember I was talking about the pill, right? So let's say, for example, you take one pill of calcium, let's just say it's 1,000 milligrams, right? It's a very common dosage, 500 to 1,000. Now, when you consume 500 to 1,000, depending on how good your stomach acid is, that you can break it down, you would actually typically be able to absorb between 10 to 20%. If it's if it's a capsule form, probably about 20%. The tablet, probably about 10%, right? So what happens is that if you consume 1,000 a day, right? Our body can only absorb up to 400 at one time. However, because of the form, it's a pill, you only absorb about 100, right? So when you absorb about 100, your body has to detoxify, so as to say, the kidney has to cleanse out the remaining 800. Now, if you think of it, you have 800 to clear. If you have a deficit of leftover every day, what happens is that it will actually form, it will be this thing called calcification in your body, right? And a lot of it will sit near your kidneys. That's why over time, if you calcify a lot, you become uncomfortable. You may need to go for surgery and all that, right? In extreme cases. So what we can tell them is, in that scenario, you consume 1,000 milligrams, you get probably about 200 milligrams. In this case, one serving of calcium is 375 milligrams. And because it's very quickly absorbed, your body is able to take in up to 95%, right? Of course, depends how strong your stomach and all that kind of stuff. So there's a bit of variance. But let's assume let's say assume you get someone very senior. Maybe you can only absorb 80%. Let's just say 75, 80%. But you only have 25%, 20, 25%, which is less than about 100 at most milligrams each time for your body to detoxify. So what happens is that your body doesn't have to work so hard, but you're getting more of what you consume. Yeah. So when we look at it this way, you can explain to them, your body can only take up to 400 milligrams per sitting at one time. Ours is 375, which means that likelihood you can consume everything that's available is very high. So that means that there's slightly lesser that your kidney has to work hard to detoxify the process. Therefore, our calcium can be a safer option for most people. Yeah. Okay, so that's the first one. Then cost-wise as well. Per serving, if you're getting more, isn't it more worth it? All right. So if you spend $1, how much do you want to get back? 10% or 95%? I think most people will choose 95 lah. Huh? Most people won't choose 10%. So in that case, if you look at it, it is more efficient for all of us because it will less likely develop that kidney stone we're talking about because of the form of calcium, the delivery model. Yeah. I noticed
Kunos was asking, can calcium take together with magnesium?
Yeah, you can take it. Typically we advise for isotonics not more than 4 caps per sitting at one time. So if you take 1 cap of calcium, 1 cap of magnesium, that's fine. Yeah, no issues. Yeah.
And then the next question is, would you recommend magnesium for symptoms of pins and needle sensation? That's from Mabel.
Okay, in a simplistic term, the answer is yes. However, I will also add one more step is that because I'm a functional fitness coach, right? So I would ask you, when do you get these pins and needles? Do you get it because you don't move much? Therefore, you get the pins and needles. So if that is the case, it's just a movement issue. So if you move a little bit more, do a bit of toe taps and stuff, you may actually rid yourself of those issues. But sometimes we are in a meeting for a very long time. Yeah. So you may end up sitting for 4 or 5 hours without realizing, right? You're doing work in front of the screen and all that. Then taking calcium and magnesium will be helpful for sure. Yeah. How much depends on individual, but it will definitely be helpful. Yeah.
Next question from Mabel too. My husband works out at the gym daily. Should he take his isotonic magnesium before or after his workout?
In general, after. You want him to be fired up, not too fired up to go to the gym, not be too relaxed before going to the gym. Yeah, because remember, calcium is the on switch, magnesium is the off switch. So you don't want him to be too relaxed when he goes to the gym, then you find that he may not have the fever, the fervor to actually continue the workout. Yeah. Mm.
So does it mean that before you go to the gym, you take calcium? After you go to the gym, you take magnesium?
Uh,
That's my question. I add on only.
oh, okay, okay. Yeah, that's a very good one as well. Actually, if I were to do that, I would take other things than calcium before a workout lah. So, you can actually combine calcium and magnesium after workout. I think it helps to relax overall. So it's very helpful. I find it better for me in the evenings lah. Yeah, yeah. But give it a try. I have friends who take daily. I have a customer previously who take daily essential in the morning, and he finds it a bit hard to focus when driving. So his is the only person I know has this issue. Yeah. So he takes his calcium later in the day for his case. Yeah. For
Okay, Asia was asking, for nerve problem, better to consume magnesium or calcium?
nerve in general, I would say calcium. If they are not they find it hard to relax, then yes, then magnesium is a good addition. Yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
Anybody have any more questions?
Yeah,
Torn
think
meniscus, does calcium help?
I think before there's one more by Wendy.
Oh,
Is
yes, right.
vitamin D for calcium absorption. Vitamin D activates the process. Is it essential to add vitamin D with calcium and magnesium? As in additional vitamin D on top of what is in the calcium and magnesium, right? Vitamin D essential is like you think of it as like a tour leader. It tells the calcium where to go. Um, if you find that in general, I would say if someone who has more severe bone related issues, for example, they go for a scan or that and they come back that they are osteopenia or osteoporosis stage, right? You want to speed up the absorption of calcium, right? Then I would say that adding vitamin D can be helpful. It can actually make it even more efficient. So you get more out of the calcium supplement. Yeah. Torn meniscus. Torn meniscus usually is related more to tightness of the muscle. Not so much of calcium, but um, not so direct. It will have some help, but not so direct. Yeah. Because
Maybe
usually
bromelain
torn,
helps.
yeah, it can help with recovery because torn meniscus, usually a meniscus is like the side of the knee, right? So what happens is that if you have muscles that are tight all over, or you make too much sudden turns and basically it's already tight to begin with, the sudden twisting can actually cause it to tear. So usually I would encourage a lot of people who run a lot or participate in activities that involve a lot of walking and running, and they find their legs are always a bit tight around the knees, then they need to do some movement to loosen up. So thanks to Kathy for playing the video. I have a video where I talk about that. So you can actually take a look. There's a tip that you can do on your own to loosen up. Of course, if it's not torn yet, you take calcium or that is helpful. If it's torn already, you need to do strengthening of the surrounding muscles. Yeah. What if someone takes too much magnesium? Okay, that's a very interesting question. Too much is relative. So in most cases, I'll recommend if you want to try magnesium, start with 1 cap first. And try not to be too gung-ho lah. Because sometimes say one is good, more is better. It's not always the case. Because a lot of times with supplementation, you don't want to be too reach out and take too much too soon. You want to try for at least 2 weeks. So 2 weeks is a very good gauge because if you take, say, 1 cap for 2 weeks and you find that, hey, you feel a little more relaxed, that's fine, right? Then you just continue for another 2 more weeks. And if you see you're progressively getting better, able to sleep better, all that, then you realize that it's starting to do its work. Yeah. So when you try to increase, use it in 2 week periods. That means you try for 2 weeks, 14 days. If you find it's sufficient, continue. If you find it's insufficient, you want to increase, you can try for 2 weeks, right? And then you go back to the lower dose again for another 2 weeks. Then you see what is the difference. because sometimes you need to come off something before you realize what is the difference. Yeah. So I will always say start with one cap first, and then let time pass to see the effectiveness. Yeah, because remember we are not taking drugs, so it may not be twice a day, 3 days in a week, and then you can see a difference. It may take longer. So 2 weeks is a very good start point to gauge. Yeah. Even in nutritional coaching, that we always talk to people do in 2 week increments. So we know whether is it working or not. Because if you take for 3 days, 4 days, you keep increasing, you don't know if it's working yet. It takes a bit longer than that. Yeah, for the body to respond. Not just 3 to 5 days.
Hey,
Okay.
Gabriel.
No problem.
The next question, thanks a lot. The next question is this: how would one know that they've taken too much of calcium?
Oh,
Magnesium. Too
Or
much of
magnesium.
magnesium. There's a symptom will definitely come out one.
I have that.
Oh, you have that? Really?
It happened to
Yeah,
me
if I
too.
were to take 2 caps, I will have a bit diarrhea.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
That is one thing that does happen sometimes.
Yeah.
Actually that one depends on individual. Some people feel it more
Correct.
severe, some people don't feel so much. So
Correct.
diarrhea can also happen with creatine.
Mhm.
Okay, so if you take too much creatine, you can also get diarrhea.
Correct. Correct.
Ah,
Because
ah,
magnesium actually kind of relax your bowel movement. That's why it's
yeah,
very easy.
correct.
Like what Andrew put on there, allow lah.
Yeah, correct.
You know it's too much already. Yeah.
Correct. Because if it is also a sign that actually, chances are your body probably don't need so much lah. So that's why I say, when you introduce, do a bit at a time. Yeah.
Right.
Uh,
Right. Thanks.
uh,
Thanks.
Tuna,
no problem. Yeah, thanks,
Tuna is
Richard.
also asking. I have a customer whose mother takes calcium injection every morning, and can her mom take isotonic calcium at the same time?
Okay, for this one, right, you need to see how much injection is she taking, and need to take a look at what is she consuming food wise. If she's already at like 1,000 milligrams, or so, if you want to add calcium, and if you notice that she still has symptoms where you may want to see how to add more calcium, be a bit cautious, because like if she's taking injection, she should be able to absorb a pretty good percentage from the injection. Um, there probably is some bone related issue for this case. I would say observe and maybe work with the doctor to see whether or not to take the calcium, because you need to know how much calcium she's already taking. Yeah, so you may not want to burden the kidneys too much as well, because the kidney will work harder with this kind of scenario. Yeah.
Agnes is asking, my friend has nerve pain. Do you think magnesium helps? She's now taking TCM, traditional
Nerve
Chinese
pain.
meds.
In issues where there's nerve pain, if it's really bothering her, she's not able to carry her day without experiencing the pain. It's best to go see if there's any pertaining issue that's causing the nerve pain. This could be a medical related issue. I wouldn't just say take magnesium to help. May get it investigated first before she decides what to do next. Because nerve pain can be something quite serious. Is she having neuropathy? Is she having high blood sugar? Is she having some nerve issues? Is there any nerve impingement? So nerve issue, because nerve moves, so it's best to get it properly looked at. Yeah, if it's like, she's sprained or what, then it's a different thing. But if it's persistent nerve pain, probably I would say go get it looked at first, just to be safe. Yeah, because you may not know, they may actually need to look at where the exact issue is also. So this can be quite may be quite serious. Yeah. Mm.
Mm.
Okay.
Will calcium plus magnesium sufficient or helpful for release lower back stiffness, tightness?
It could help. But in scenarios like this, right, it's good to find out what is potentially causing this person's lower back tightness. and stiffness. It may be because they have a certain sitting posture. They'll be sitting for too long. So those could be issues that need to be worked at together with calcium and magnesium. So I wouldn't say we just propose one solution. Sometimes you need to look at maybe the person is driving the whole day, for example, right? It's a private hire driver or doing a desk job where they sit for too long and they don't stand up. So a small habit could be just getting them to stand up, twist, stretch around a little bit, then add the calcium and magnesium will be even better for them. Yeah. Yeah, I don't see any more questions.
Okay. I'm trying to look for your Facebook clips on this meniscus exercise.
Oh, I just posted it tonight.
Oh,
So it's the
okay.
newest one.
Okay. I think
Yeah.
that yeah, perhaps maybe later I will forward that in our group chat, then you all can look at it and see
Yeah,
how
sure. It's a very, very simple exercise. Anybody can do it at home. Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
Okay, for someone with toe numbness, what's your advice?
Toe numbness. Okay, toe numbness now. Toes are the furthest point away from the heart. Okay, so toe numbness, again, I would say ask a little bit more. Is it because the person sitting for too long? Sometimes it could be the shoe is too tight. Sometimes they could be walking too much. Pricking pain. Wow, this one, okay, like pins,
Like pins and
pins and
needles.
needles. Is this person walking too much? They're wearing high heel shoes or something. Is a senior person or
Maybe Norins can, yes, senior
senior
person.
person? Is okay. Senior person. How's the activity level of this person? Does this person walk around much? Or sit around a lot? She wears sports shoes. Okay, sports shoes, then you probably the first thing I will look at is the size of the shoe. In general, if the shoe is too tight, it could be causing all these issues. Or the support is not very good. Sometimes it's maybe too soft or too hard. It can cause all these issues in general. Yeah. So walk a lot. Then this could be walk a lot is quite likely that maybe too much pressure on the feet. So maybe have to look at the shoe support. I'm not a shoe expert, but in general, I would know if someone walks a lot, they will definitely get more fatigue. I think like someone like Richard or even Andrew and all that, when we all guys served in the army, if you go for long marches, you come back, you get all kind of blisters and numbness and whatnot. So it's yes, magnesium spray possibly can help. I can give it a try. Good suggestion. Other than consuming magnesium, you can spray directly. Also check out the calves. If the calf very tight, usually they walk a lot. Sometimes the calf muscle, the soleus, the tibia, the shin area, those area, if it feels hard and tight, then doing some simple movements and stretching will be a good start. Plus the magnesium spray. They need to move a little bit because the spray is not the only part of the solution. The solution includes a little bit of movement. Because if they don't move, then they just spray, the muscle will still be a bit tight. Yeah. So take note of the calf. If the calf feels a bit hard and tight, then then you got to stretch it, move it. Maybe even go for a massage. Yeah. Possibly even go for a foot massage. I think that can be very helpful since she walks a lot. Yeah. Yeah. Thanks, Noreen.
Thank you so
Gabriel.
much, Gabriel.
Yeah,
Yes,
Gabriel,
Richard, go ahead.
what if this case here is due to neuropathy issue? Neuropathy.
Neuropathy issue. If it's neuropathy issue, then they need to control their blood sugar because it is already damaging to the nerves.
Right.
As far as supplement is concerned, I would probably focus on OPC3 and this activated B or advanced B.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Those will be more helpful. But then again, consuming it may take a while to see some effects. So it's best to go and check like how's the person's blood sugar issue? Is it in control, out of control, and so on? Because if it's been out of control for a while, then it could have already caused the neuropathy. But when I say a while, it means a few years lah. It's not like 2 months like that, then suddenly they get neuropathy. Right? It doesn't happen that way lah. It takes a while. So usually they will feel first in the toes. And if they walk a lot and they have neuropathy, then they have to be very careful. They have to get the right type of shoes. Yeah.
Le Yi,
Oh, I
I
would
would
like
like
your
your perspective on Hillsborough. Just
again back to the shoes and also heel spur. Can you be a bit more specific when you mean heel spur, Le Yi?
Bone spur, I think.
Oh, bone spur. Oh, how's his leg strength? Nerve got irritated. Wow, this one may need orthopedic already. Maybe not at my level. This one may need to look at orthopedic. Yeah. I don't. Walking is okay, but sometimes if it's all this bone issue, may need to look at orthopedic just to be on the safe side. At least they take X-ray and all that and see what's really happening. So that you have a good basis first before you start to introduce lifestyle changes lah. Yeah. But for starters, I would say get him to get a good pair of shoes. I think that is very helpful. And of course, calcium, magnesium definitely will help with the nerve conduction, muscle, and all that. It definitely will be helpful. Yeah. Yep.
okay, for those who actually want to know a bit more on the strength training, I think you can follow Gabriel's on his Facebook. He has actually quite a few snippets and clips that you can learn from. So, yep. And anybody have any more question? Because it's already 10:36. Please advise what I need to do if I have stiff fingers on my right hand when I wake up.
First question I'll ask: the stiff fingers on right hand, right? In your sleeping position, do you lie on your right side and have pressure on your right hand? If you do, then that could be why it's causing the stiffness. But it also could be you lie on your back. Then it could be your pillow, possibly, or yeah, it could be a pillow. It could be your pillow because the neck it goes down all the way to the hands. So that could be also a sleeping position. So there are a few possibilities. One is sleeping position, one is the pillow. The other one could be let me see, the pillow sleeping position. The other one could be potentially something to do with arthritis. Yeah. But usually
One
if a
of
person
my
is
friends also
younger,
similar experience.
yeah. So you can try with calcium and magnesium and see how it goes. By the way, I had numbness in my hand previously. Yeah, I changed view and found out something else. Yes. Correct. I agree, Lei. Yeah. So sometimes our pillow, it could be too high or too low for us. If it's too high, sometimes because you are compressing the nerve also, it may help. Coconut oil. I'm not sure why coconut oil helps. But if I were you, I would give the magnesium and calcium a try lah. Because it helps with nerve conduction as well. So that might actually also help it a bit. Yeah, but I think the pillow is the first one for that. Yeah, find a pillow that fits your height, because all of us, when you see a side view, everybody's neck posture is a little bit different. So some people higher pillow, some people softer pillow, and so on. So there are some shops that allow you to actually try the pillow, so that can be helpful. But calcium magnesium definitely can help with your nerve conduction and relaxation. So those will also be helpful in a way. Yeah. Yeah, most welcome. Yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you very much, everybody. Yeah, I guess it's getting late, so we will not take any more questions. Thank you, Gabriel, for sharing. Thank you so much. And if you guys really want to have, yeah, as I mentioned, follow his Facebook. He gives a lot of tips. Yeah. And I hope we can get Gabriel back soon, because I think there are a lot of questions they want to ask. Thank you so
Okay,
much.
no problem, no problem.
And
Yeah,
we'll
it's my
call it a
pleasure to
night.
share. Thank you.
And
Thank you,
Gabriel, thank you
Gabriel.
so
Thank
much,
you,
Bye.
Gabriel.
everybody.
Hey, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome,
Good night.
Richard. Thank you.
Thank you,
See you
Gabriel.
guys.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Bye, Andrew.
Thanks, Gabriel. Thanks, Katie.
It's
Okay,
my
thanks,
pleasure. Good
Camilla.
night.
Thanks, Gabriel, answering so many questions.
No problem, buddy. Thank you.
Bye.